is SMNI News Channel. Truth that matters.
In the headlines, prominent lawyers and former palace officials have lambasted certain young guns or young lawmakers in the lower house for questioning Representative Paolo Duterte's proposal for mandatory random drug testing of government officials. Meanwhile, thousands of proud Filipinos filled the streets of Manila to celebrate the return of the nation's Olympic heroes from the Paris 2024 Olympics. In other news, Jose Maria College Foundation Incorporated in Davao City has made it to the top-performing higher education institutions in Davao region, according to the latest Ebometrics ranking released for July 2024. For our top stories, around the globe, Japan's Prime Minister Fumio Kishida has announced he will not seek re-election as leader of the Liberal Democratic Party, marking the end of his nearly three-year term. And Thailand's Constitutional Court has ousted Prime Minister Srettha Thavin in a 5-4 decision over ethical misconduct. I'm Frederico, Velloso. Newsline World starts now. The Office of the Vice President has launched a new route for its free ride program. Learn more in this report by MJ Mondahar.
Some passengers who travel daily via bus from the Parañaque Integrated Terminal Exchange or PTEX can now enjoy free rides. Specifically, this applies to those commuting early in the morning and in the afternoon to Naik, Cavite. The Office of the Vice President or OVP launched the free ride service on Wednesday, August 14 for this route. Currently, the OVP has allocated one bus for Naik operating from Mondays to Saturdays between 5 to 9 in the morning and 5 p.m. to 9 in the evening. The OVP bus can be found at Gate 6 of PITX in Parañaque City.
Pangwalong bus na po ito ng Office of the Vice President. No? Meron tayong apat dito sa Metro Manila. Meron tayong isa sa Davao. May isa din po tayo sa Cebu at isa sa Bacolod. So sa overall, meron na tayong 8. Meron pa kaming 9 na ilo-launch somewhere in Visayas.
According to the OVP, the free ride program is based on recommendations from transport groups about the routes and areas in the Philippines where passengers are most concentrated. Meanwhile, passengers expressed their deep gratitude for VP Sara Duterte for bringing this government service closer to the people.
Sa pamasahe na lang na simula dun sa Cavite hanggang Manila, 300. Kung lagi ako makakalibre, makakasave ako ng 2,000 pesos per cut-off. So may pandagdag baon yung mga anak ko. Sana po magtuloy-tuloy pa yung mga ganitong program para sa mga Pilipino kasi sobrang nakakatulong siya.
Thank you, Madam VP. Maraming salamat sa ganitong opportunity.
In addition to the Naik route, the OVP's free ride program will also assist passengers affected by the widespread transport strike here in Metro Manila. For Ganamable of Philippines, MJ Mondahar, SMNI News.
A lawyer has raised questions about why legislators in the Senate and Congress have not summoned for investigation the individuals accusing Ferdinand Marcos Jr. of using cocaine, despite having the authority to issue subpoenas. Here's the report from Jade Calabroso.
Ang bangag na presidente.
Political vlogger Maharlika fearlessly asserted the authenticity of a viral video allegedly showing a man resembling Ferdinand Marcos Jr. snorting a white powdery substance. In an interview, Maharlika publicly presented the authentication documents for the video, proving that it was not a deep fake, contrary to statements made by Secretary Benhur Abalos and Secretary Gilbert Chodoro.
But one thing na malinaw, yung video na yon ay hindi siya tampered or altered.
And your proof to that is, anong level of authentication yan?
Okay. So actually, as I explained sa vlog ko, so yung audio analysis, inanalyze din ng forensic, which is meron talagang audio, merong audio stream pero hindi lang siya audible. And doon sa video analysis ay 4 Okay, na methods ang ginamit niya, no? The analysis of the video's GOP structure and frame types supports the conclusion of non-tampering. The GOP size is consistent with only minor deviations, and the frame type pattern follows a regular sequence typical of standard video encoding processes, further indicating that the video has not been edited.
The video first surfaced on the day of Marcos Jr.'s State of the Nation address, quickly going viral. In response, the secretaries of DND and DILG swiftly dismissed the video as false and warned the public not to spread it, threatening legal consequences. Even before this, there had been rumors of Marcos Jr.'s involvement with illegal drugs. These allegations were first brought up by former Senator Nicky Cositeng and former President Rodrigo Duterte, followed by Cathy Binag. Attorney Marlon Bosantog has now questioned why legislators in the Senate and Congress have not insisted an investigation into these allegations, despite having the power to subpoena those who have spoken out about Marcos Jr.'s alleged cocaine use.
Simple lang naman na, halimbawa sa young guns na yun sa Congress, you have the power of subpoena to compel witnesses to attend your hearings, to bring documents. Why not ipasubpoena mo si Cathy Binay, si Nicky Cositeng, si former President, si Morales, and all these people who have personal knowledge regarding the utility and usage of the President of cocaine? Bakit hindi niyo gawin yun? Because this is a matter of public issue.
Bosantog then posed a critical question to those in power.
Kayo ba, no? In your frame, kayo ba ay sumasang-ayon na ang government natin is being led by a person who is using cocaine? Is that something that is acceptable to you?
Meanwhile, Dr. Lorraine Badoy, former spokesperson of the NTF-LCAC, stated that Marcos Jr.'s silence on these issues is clear proof that the allegations are true and not deepfakes or fabrications.
All of this hullabaloo about this cocaine video, if you were a real president, you would go out there and stop all of it by having that drug test. The refusal of this president to have a follicle drug test is the best evidence that this is authentic, and again, worse, of his drug addiction.
For God and my beloved Philippines, this has been Jade Calabroso, SMNA News.
China has justified the recent actions of the People's Liberation Army Air Force at Scarborough Shoal, stating they were in accordance with international law. This comes after the PLA Air Force fired flares into the air in response to what a Chinese official claims it was the Philippine military plane entering Chinese territory. Cresceline Catarong has the report.
Tensions continue between the Philippines and China regarding the contested waters in the South China Sea, not only at sea but also in the air. Recently, China fired flares along the route of a Philippine Air Force plane at Scarborough Shoal, also known as Bajo de Masinloc. The Philippine government condemned this, and President Marcos Jr. called China's actions illegal and reckless. Armed Forces of the Philippines Chief of Staff Romeo Browner also mentioned that 2 Chinese aircraft allegedly performed dangerous maneuvers while flying over Scarborough Shoal on August 8. The National Security Council has called on China to stop its alleged provocative actions.
Hindi naman pinaputukan yung ating mga eroplano, ngunit parang kung ano yung nangyayari sa dagat, na nagkakaroon ng water cannon, na nagkakaroon ng laser pointing, ay parang ginawa din nila sa Himpapawid. And this is a serious escalation on the part of the People's Republic of China.
In a statement released by Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson Lin Chen, the recent actions of the People's Liberation Army Air Force at Huangyandao or Scarborough Shoal were in accordance with international laws. The official added that the Philippine Air Force plane patrolling Scarborough Shoal had entered Chinese domain. The Chinese official asserted that Huangyandao or Scarborough Shoal is within its territory. On August 7 and 8, the spokesperson said Philippine military planes twice intruded the surrounding airspace of Scarborough Shoal. He stated that this was a serious violation of China's sovereignty and international law and the fundamental norms governing international relations. The Chinese Foreign Ministry also expressed its sentiments after the Philippines sent its military aircraft into the airspace of Scarborough Shoal during a joint patrol with the US, Australia, and Canada in the South China Sea. It was clear, he said, that the actions of the Philippines with its military aircraft were a deliberate provocation. China has called on the Philippines to immediately stop the infringements and provocations at Scarborough Shoal. China further stated that it will continue to act resolutely in accordance with the law to firmly safeguard its sovereignty and maritime rights and interests. For God and for my beloved Philippines, this has been Cresceline Catarong, SM9 News.
The Department of Justice has suggested that sunken tankers in Bataan may be involved in fuel smuggling. Meanwhile, the agency has assured compensation for those affected by the oil spill. Margaret Gonzalez reports.
All angles and potential causes of the Bataan oil spill are being investigated following the sinking of MKTR Terra Nova, MKTR Jason Bradley, and MV Mirola in the Bataan Sea waters last July. The Oil Spill Interagency Committee has held a meeting with the Department of Justice or DOJ. One of the aspects under investigation is whether the tankers were involved in illegal activities such as oil smuggling.
It's one of the possibilities kasi yan, kasi sa lahat ng mga sakuna tinitingnan mo lahat yan kung ito ba ay intentional o ito ba ay dahil sa negligence or ito ba ay may kutsabahan, etc. Hindi natin dinidiscount ng mga probable criminal liabilities dyan kasi nga parte ng investigasyon yan at yun yung instruction namin, titignan kung meron bang koneksyon nung pagkakaroon ng paglubog ng 3 barko na halos magkakalapit-lapit lang at saka yung mga red flags na nakita namin na pinupurso ngayon ng NBI kasama na yung Philippine Coast Guard at Marina.
According to the DOJ, the Jason Bradley had previously been reported for oil smuggling. It also lacked a sailing permit, while the Mirola was not registered.
Jason Bradley, in fact, meron siyang seizure order nga from customs dahil involved na ito sa isang kaso before na pending dito sa amin. At yan ay dahil sa oil smuggling. Yan ay ayon sa investigasyon ng NBI nung binerify nila yung mga records. So, parang merong, sabihin na lang natin, history ng ganyang klase. And then, meron ding raw data sila na tinitignan yung angulo na pati yung Mirola 1 ay involved din sa mga illegal activities. Dahil yung dalawang barko na to, lalo na yung Mirola, hindi registered. At ito daw, ayon sa Coast Guard, ay tumakas galing sa Nabotas. So, yung mga lahat ng anggulong yan, red flags lahat yan.
The DOJ said there is a need to refloat and salvage the tankers to examine the oil they were carrying and to know if the 3 tankers have connections to each other.
Lahat kasi ng oil, kung dumaan sa customs, may tinatawag na marker. So, kung may marker yan, malalagyan ng, pag nakakuha ka ng sample, mache-check mo, kasi nilalagyan ng customs yan, ng marker, na magpapakita na nagbayad ng customs duties and tariffs yan. Pag wala, ibig sabihin kung saan na nanggaling yan. Number 1. Number 2, i-check din nila ngayon kung parehas ba yung quality ng oil na nandun sa 3 barkong yan. Para may establish mo.
Also part of the investigation includes determining whether government officials are accountable for allowing the tankers to sail.
Sabi nila, ayon sa report nila, bakit nasira daw yung makina? Bakit nasira yung makina? At ano yung rason kung bakit 26 hours na mula nung naglayag mula sa Limay, 3 to 5 nautical miles lang ang layo niya na natakbo niya. Sinasabi nila kasi nagkaroon na daw siya ng mechanical trouble. Pero guys, sa kotse, kung ikaw ay nasa transportation, obligasyon mo yun na i-maintain yung kotse mo eh. So, merong criminal negligence, may civil negligence pa din, or administrative. Kung makikita natin na merong pagkukulang ang mga government officials natin na hindi nila ginampanan ang kanilang obligasyon sa pagpayag na maglayag itong mga to.
The Terra Nova has denied the allegations of oil smuggling. Meanwhile, the DOJ has assured that affected fishermen will receive compensation due to the oil spill. In Cavite, an estimated 31,000 residents are affected by the spill, while 21,000 are impacted in Bataan. For God and my beloved Philippines, this has been Margaret Gonzalez, SMNI News.
Meanwhile, a group of fishermen is calling for the Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources, BFAR, to lift the fishing ban imposed in the province of Cavite following the oil spill from the sinking of MT Terra Nova in Limay, Bataan. However, BFAR insists that it's not yet time to lift the fishing ban. Sheena Torno files this report.
The Bureau of Fisheries and Aquatic Resources, or BFAR, has not yet determined when the fishing ban in Cavite will be lifted. This comes after an oil spill affected the coastal waters of Cavite due to the sinking of the MT Terra Nova in Limay, Bataan. Several coastal municipalities of Cavite still affected. This includes Bacoor, Kawit, Noveleta, Rosario, Tanza, Naik, Maragondon, and Ternate, leading to the declaration of a state of calamity. As a result, BFAR has prohibited fishing activities due to the potential health risk. However, a group of fishermen calls that it is now time to lift the fishing ban in the said affected areas as the livelihoods of thousands of fishermen are being impacted. This stance is not supported by the agency.
May mga sinusunod tayong scientific protocols in terms of declaring whether or not a particular area can be declared negative for traces of oil and grease. So, dumadaan yan sa proseso dahil ito po ay science-based, dumadaan sa laboratorio. So, sa ngayon, hindi pa po natin i-rekomenda ang pag-lift ng fishing ban doon sa Cavite province. Ang kompromiso dito yung kaligtasan ng publiko kasi kung may may bakas nung grasa at nung crudo hindi ito maganda sa kalusugan ng ating publiko.
According to BFAR's data, over 28,000 fishermen from Region 3, Region 4A, and the National Capital Region or NCR have been affected by the oil spill. BFAR acknowledges that the daily income loss for fishermen is significant. However, they continue to distribute aid to the affected fishermen.
In fact, namigay na tayo ng fuel subsidy, and then I think may mga fingerlings na rin.
BFAR has also addressed concerns about the safety of fish sold in markets.
Yung mga probinsya na yon ay yung I think hindi ko nagkakamali yung Pampanga, Bataan, Bulacan, pati itong sa NCR and Batangas ay dineklara namin na ang mga isda noon ay safe for human consumption.
Meanwhile, shellfish from the coastal waters of Bataan, Bulacan, and Pampanga in Central Luzon, as well as Navotas, Manila, Parañaque, and Las Piñas in the National Capital Region are free from oil and grease contamination and are fit for human consumption. This is based on analysis from samples submitted between July 29 and August 12 and sensory evaluation of fish samples from Batangas, particularly in Nasugbo, Lian, and Calatagan, conducted on August 9, show that all samples were negative for traces of oil and grease. The agency said they will maintain fish sampling and conduct a sensory evaluation to determine the presence of oil and grease in potentially affected areas and ensure the safety of the consuming public. According to BFAR, there's no cause for concern regarding fish supply and prices as it remains stable. According to BFAR, there is no cause for concern regarding fish supply and prices as it remains stable. However, BFAR now is discussing the importation plan for the coming months to augment possible shortage of fish supply, which they implement an annual fishing ban in several fishing grounds. For God and for my beloved Philippines, this has been Sheena Torno, SMNI News.
Jose Maria College Foundation Incorporated in Davao City has made it to the top performing higher education institutions in Davao region, according to the latest Ebometrics ranking released for July 2024. Let's hear this report from Hannah Jane Sancho.
Jose Maria College Foundation Incorporated, or JMCFI, is among the leading institutions in the Philippines, ranking 135th nationwide. In the entire Davao region, it secured the 6th spot, showing an impressive improvement from its 190th place in July 2023. Atty de Davao University topped the list in the region, ranking 19th nationwide, followed by University of Mindanao at 45th place, University of the Philippines, Mindanao at 50th place, University of Southeastern Philippines at 51st place, and University of the Immaculate Conception at 90th place. According to Webometrics indicators, these institutions demonstrated exceptional performance in indicators that reflect their strengths in web impact, academic citations, and scholarly excellence. At the regional level, specifically in the Davao region, Jose Maria College Foundation Incorporated is part of the elite group, ranking 6th in the region. It was followed by Davao del Norte State College at 144th place, Cor Jesus College at 149th place, Holy Cross of Davao College at 171st place, and Davao Medical School Foundation at 175th place. According to Webometrics, their ranking is based on 3 key indicators: visibility at 50%, transparency at 10%, and excellence at 40%. Visibility measures the impact of the institution's web content to external links. Transparency is measured by the number of citations from top researchers on Google Scholar, and excellence is measured by the number of top-cited papers across various disciplines. The upward trajectory of Jose Maria College Foundation Incorporated signifies significant progress and a strategic focus on enhancing its academic and research capabilities. For God and my beloved country, the Philippines, this has been Hannah Jane Sancho, SMNI News.
The International Atomic Energy Agency has reported that critical internal components of the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant have sustained significant damage. Carla Abiliana has the report.
On Tuesday, International Atomic Energy Agency Director General Rafael Mariano Grossi said that internal components of the fire-stroke cooling tower at Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant were seriously damaged. This statement was made by Grossi after a staff member of the nuclear power plant took pictures of the damaged situation. The IAEA reported that its team at the ZNPP reviewed the evidence provided to them. According to Grossi, this evidence reinforced the agency's conclusion that the fire in the cooling tower did not originate from the bottom. The IAEA team had requested access to another cooling tower at the nuclear power plant to examine its internal structure. However, they were escorted back to a safe location due to air raid sirens. Russia's State Atomic Energy Corporation, Rosatom, claimed that Ukrainian forces attacked the cooling tower of the ZNPP, causing it to catch fire last Sunday. In contrast, the Ukrainian side stated that Russia was responsible for setting fire to the nuclear power plant and should be held accountable for the incident. Radiation levels at the nuclear power plant are currently within normal limits. The ZNPP, Europe's largest nuclear power plant, houses 6 power units with a combined capacity of 6 gigawatts. For God and my beloved Philippines, Carla Abiliana, SMNI News.
Up next, in Gaza, displaced families are increasingly at risk as Israeli airstrikes target schools serving as shelters. The United Nations has urgently called for an emergency meeting to tackle the escalating crisis. And Palestinian president held talks with Russian president in Moscow, firmly opposing any forced expatriation of Palestinians while urging continued international support. More news when Newsline World returns.
Abangan ng Banateros tuwing Lunes hanggang Huwebes, live dito lang sa SMNI.
Yan ang Banateros, walang inuurungan. Pag tama palakpakan, pag mali ay babanatan. Yan ang Banateros.
Sa
Sabi nga nila, di ba, you will know them by their love. Yun ang sinabi sa Biblia. It's not on how good you are in quoting the scripture. It's giving love.
Grabe, hindi talaga hindi talaga kasya yung words eh. Kung paano natin i-express yung ating na-experience.
Mismo wala akong masabi. Kita ko kasi yung pagiging generous. Alam mo, madali kasi magsalita ng Diyos eh. Pero pagdating sa pera, pagdating sa pagiging generous, yung pagtulong sa iba, hindi biro yun. Maraming bagsak dyan. Maraming bagsak. Kaya ako nakikita ko yung pagiging generous niya. Hindi sa salita eh. Sa lakad. Bilib ako. Hindi dakdak. Nakita mo sa gawa. In one word, authentic.
Children will grow up and bring the joy, the love, the peace, and compassion to the whole world. We only have one planet. We only have one Earth. And I hope that this new generation of children that we have reached out will become millions and billions and bring peace on Earth. Bring peace to humanity.
Back in the news, prominent lawyer Atty. Roque has challenged the claims of certain young guns in Congress that Representative Paolo Duterte's proposal for mandatory random drug testing of government officials might be unconstitutional. Angel Pasovo will tell us more.
Davao City Representative Paolo Duterte has proposed a bill aimed at implementing mandatory random drug testing for all appointed and elected government officials nationwide. House Bill 10744 seeks to ensure that no official, from the president to the lowest-ranking government position, is using illegal drugs. However, Duterte's proposal has faced criticism from fellow lawmakers, including allies of Martin Romualdez. Congresswoman Migs Nograles has pointed out that the Supreme Court had previously declared mandatory drug tests for election candidates unconstitutional, suggesting that the constitutionality of Duterte's proposal could be questioned. But Attorney Roque, former presidential spokesperson, has contradicted the claims of the young guns in Congress.
Lilinawin ko lang po ang Korte Suprema, totoo na minsan ay nagkaroon ng desisyon na hindi po pwedeng dagdagan ang mga requirements para tumakbo para sa isang public office. So hindi ka po pwede mag-require ng drug test para sa mga kandidato. Kasi nga, sabi ng saligang batas, wala na ibang requirement para tumakbo kundi ikaw ay isang Pilipino. No? Pero ang sabi naman ng Korte Suprema, kung ito ay gagawing mandatory para sa empleyo, sa gobyerno at sa pribadong mga opisina at sa ating mga paaralan, ito po ay balido. So kung mapapasa po yung panukalang batas ni Congressman Pulong Duterte, hindi po yan magiging unconstitutional. Mali po yung sinasabi ng mga young guns dahil ang sabi ng Korte Suprema sa decision na yon, unconstitutional kapag ginawang karagdagang requirement para maging kandidato. So ngayon, wala pang panukalang batas. Pero didinggin ba ng presidente at ng miyembro ng kanyang gabinete ang magpa-hair follicle test? Kung walang tinatago, papayag. Kung may tinatago, papalag.
Roque also called on leaders of government-owned and controlled corporations or GOCCs to voluntarily undergo hair follicle tests. He argues that undergoing these tests would help dispel allegations against some government officials.
Kaya ang panawagan ko, mga gabinete, wala pong mawawala. Siyempre, mga namumuro rin ng GOCC, Chairman Altenco, tayo po ay magpa-hair follicle test. Diba? Wala pong mawawala dyan sa mandatory, hindi naman mandatory, voluntary hair follicle test para magkaroon ng kumpiyansa ang taong bayan na walang gumagamit ng pinagbabawal na powdery white substance sa mga tao ng gobyerno.
For God, my beloved Philippines, Angel Pastor, SMNI News.
For the first time since the tragic air crash that claimed 62 lives, VOIPAS CEO Jose Feliciano Filio has publicly addressed the incident. In a video statement released by the airline, Felicio expressed deep sorrow, emphasized the company's commitment to the victims' families, and reiterated that passenger crew safety remains the airline's top priority. Let's hear more from David Lira.
Sou o comandante Felício.
In a video message lasting 2 minutes and 24 seconds, Jose Felício Filho, CEO of VOIPAS, broke his silence regarding the air crash that claimed 62 lives. Felício began by expressing his condolences to the victims' families and assured that the company is providing all necessary support. Since I took over as CEO of this company in 2004, I have always built a foundation with solid guidelines and always guided by the international best practices to ensure the operational safety of everyone, Felício stated. He further emphasized that VOIPAS is dedicating extensive resources to ensure the affected families receive emotional and logistic support. Felício highlighted the efforts made by VOIPAS, including the deployment of psychologists, doctors, and volunteers at a family shelter in São Paulo. He assured that daily meetings are being held with the victims, families, and that an exclusive communication channel has been established to keep them informed with transparency and objectivity. I have been a pilot for over 30 years, and I am now the longest-serving captain of this company. The lives of our passengers, as well as our crew members, have always been and will continue to be our #1 priority, Felício concluded. The cause of the accident is still under investigation by the Aeronautical Accident Investigation and Prevention Center, CENIPA, part of the Brazilian Air Force, FAB. This has been David Lira, your global citizen correspondent for SMNI News.
Thailand's Constitutional Court has ousted Prime Minister Srettha Thavin in a 5-4 decision over ethical misconduct. Chatmongan Pisamagazan reports.
On Wednesday, August 14, 2024, Thailand's Constitutional Court ruled 5-4 to remove Prime Minister Srettha Thavin from office, finding him guilty of ethical misconduct for appointing Pichachunban, a lawyer with a past prison sentence, to his cabinet. The court described this appointment made in April as a serious violation of ethical standards which led to Srettha's disqualification under the Constitution. The court's decision requires the dissolution of Srettha's cabinet and the election of a new prime minister by the 500-seat parliament. Until a new leader is elected, Deputy Prime Minister Phumtham Wechayachai will serve as caretaker. This ruling adds to Thailand's political uncertainty following the court's recent decision to dissolve the Move Forward Party, which had won the most seats in the 2023 election and sought to reform Thailand's lèse-majesté law. Economically, the ruling has impacted financial markets. The benchmark stock index fell 1.3%, the baht remained flat against the dollar, and foreign investors withdraw over $3 billion from Thai stocks. Reporting from Thailand, I'm Shatmongkom Visamaikoson, your global citizens correspondent for SMNI News Channel.
A groundbreaking development in medical technology is emerging from southwest China, where a company has achieved a global first with its high-speed 3D printers, significantly cutting down the time needed to produce orthopedic casts. Shiluli reports.
West China Pitech, based in Chengdu, has introduced a cutting-edge 3D high-speed printing or 3D HSP system, transforming the production of orthopedic casts. This state-of-the-art technology enables the rapid creation of customized orthopedic supports in just 30 minutes, a process that traditionally took several hours. The innovative printers, the first of their kind globally, have already been adopted in 16 provinces and regions across China, demonstrating their efficiency and effectiveness.
Our equipment is the world's first 3D HSP printer. Traditional machines really take 5 to 6 hours to print, but that's been shortened to about 20 minutes. This is key to the new quality productive forces that we advocate for now, as it gives patients a better experience and provides more timely treatment.
In addition to their 3D printing innovations, the company is also making strides in medical rehabilitation. Their latest development, a robotic device with an adjustable control stick, allows patients to engage in interactive activities such as a classic tile game, which supports upper limb recovery. Reporting from South Korea, this is Shaluli, your global citizen correspondent for God and our beloved country, the Philippines.
In Gaza, displaced families are facing increasing danger as Israeli strikes hit schools being used as shelters. The United Nations has called for an emergency meeting to address the crisis. Gratero Omori reports.
On August 10, Israeli airstrikes hit the Al-Tabin school in Gaza, killing at least 100 people, including many women and children. This attack has intensified calls for a ceasefire and more humanitarian aid. UN officials Rosemary DiCarlo and Lisa Doughton briefed the Security Council, urging an immediate ceasefire. They reported that schools in Gaza are being targeted more frequently, with 21 attacks on shelters since July 4. Displaced Palestinians are struggling as their shelters are destroyed. Nearly 1.9 million people in Gaza have been displaced. Schools that were once safe are now being bombed. In a report by CCTV Plus, some displaced Palestinians spoke about their situation. One such school, Al-Ramla, has been heavily damaged. Families there are staying despite the danger.
طبعا أنا نازح من حي الشجاعية، كنت موجود في مدرسة دلال المغربي. مدرسة دلال المغربي تم استهدافها قبل 10 أيام. توجهنا لمدرسة الرملة، قعدنا فيها هان. طبعا مدرسة الرملة هيك بما انك انت شايف كلها مدمرة، يعني عدد الصفوف اللي فيها بيجوش 10 صفوف، كلهم 10 عائلات 12 عائلة. تفاجأنا امبارح، اول امبارح كان في استهداف على باب مديرية التربية والتعليم بجوارنا، وامبارح او اول امبارح كمان في استهداف لمدرسه الزهره لا تبعد عنا يمكن 20 متر 30 متر.
Since October 7 last year, over 175 shelters, including 150 schools, have been attacked. The Israel Defense Forces claim that some militants are using these schools as bases, but many residents find this hard to believe.
ومع ذلك الاحتلال بيدعي انه مقاومه او بيدعي انه فيها شخصيات سياسيه او عسكريه. وين الشخصيات العسكريه؟ طلع لي هات لي هنا بالله شوف لي حد في هيك شايف هنا. طبعا دي النظره بس قول لي وين القيادات اللي هنا؟ وين في اماكن زي هيك يعني بحكي لي في قيادات او في شباب او انه مثلا تقول لي شرطه او وين هذا الكلام؟ اثبت لي هذا كلامك انك قاعد تضرب انت مدارس في صغار في اطفال.
According to UNICEF data, since November, the number of schools directly hit by airstrikes has surged fivefold, rising from 60 to nearly 340. The total number of children killed in the conflict has now exceeded 16,500. Overall, the death toll in Gaza has reached nearly 40,000. Reporting from Dubai, I'm Gratero Omor, your global citizen correspondent for SMNA News Channel.
Palestinian president met with Russian President Vladimir Putin in Moscow, rejecting any forced expatriation of Palestinians and calling for continued international support. Putin reaffirmed Russia's commitment to a two-state solution amidst the ongoing Middle East crisis. Melchizedek Cadiz reports.
In Moscow on Tuesday, Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas stood firm against any forced removal of Palestinians from their homes. He underscored the strong ties between Palestine and Russia, stressing the need for ongoing international support during these challenging times.
ونطالب بوقف القتال والدعم وتقديم المساعدات الإنسانية للفلسطينيين وعدم تهجيرهم. نحن لن نسمح ولن نقبل وأنتم معنا بتهجير الشعب الفلسطيني من ضفة وغزة والقدس إلى الخارج كما حصل في 48. مأساة 48 وال67 لن تتكرر إن شاء الله، ولكن بدعمكم وبمساعدتكم نحن واثقون أننا سنصل إلى مبتغانا. شكرا سيادة الرئيس، وأنا سعيد أن أكون هنا معكم هذا اليوم لاستكمال ما بيننا.
President Putin, expressing Russia's long-standing position on the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, reaffirmed his country's support for a fully recognized Palestinian state. He stressed that Russia's stance has always been rooted in international law and United Nations resolutions, emphasizing that peace in the region can only be achieved through the establishment of a sovereign Palestinian state.
Здесь является неизменной, она сформулирована давно и не носит какого-то конъюнктурного характера. Мы полагаем, что для того, чтобы обеспечить длительный, надежный, стабильный мир в регионе, нужно выполнить все решения Организации Объединенных Наций и прежде всего создать полноценное палестинское государство.
The Israel-Hamas conflict, which began 10 months ago, has resulted in thousands of casualties and widespread devastation. The conflict erupted after a major Hamas attack on southern Israel on October 7, 2023, leading to a full-scale Israeli military response. As the crisis continues, President Putin's calls for a Palestinian state as a resolution to the conflict further highlight Russia's role as a key player in seeking peace in the Middle East. Reporting from Kuwait, I am Melchizedek Cadiz, your global citizen correspondent for God and for our beloved country, the Philippines.
Japan's Prime Minister Fumio Kishida has announced he will not seek re-election as a leader of the Liberal Democratic Party, marking the end of his nearly 3-year term. His decision sets the stage for a new leader to guide Japan through a crucial period. Ria Saito has the report.
In a press conference today, Prime Minister Fumio Kishida revealed he will not run for re-election, citing the need for the LDP to present itself as a changed party. Kishida's decision comes amid falling approval ratings, internal party conflicts, and ongoing scandals. He emphasizes that rebuilding public trust is crucial for effective governance. Kishida also highlighted the importance of public trust in politics, stating, quote, "I have made the heavy decision with a strong desire to move forward with political reform because the people's trust is what makes politics work," end of quote. Kishida's public support has been undermined by recent scandals, including the LDP's ties to the Unification Church and issues with unreported donations from fundraising events. His planned resignation opens the door for a leadership race within the LDP, with elections scheduled for September. The new leader will face significant challenges, including managing Japan's economy, which is struggling with rising living costs and a weakened yen. Reporting from Tokyo, Japan, this has been Ria Saito, your global citizen correspondent for God and our beloved country, the Philippines.
Thousands of proud Filipinos filled the streets of Manila to celebrate the return of the nation's Olympic heroes from the Paris 2024 Olympics. The city also announced plans to declare August 4 as Carlos Yulo Day in honoring the two-time Olympic gold medalist. Carlo de la Peña with more details.
The star of the Heroes Parade was two-time 2024 Paris Olympic gold medalist Carlos Yulo, along with bronze medalist Ira Villegas and Nesty Petesio, as well as other Filipino Olympians. The parade route started at Aliw Theater in Pasay, turned left onto Rojas Boulevard, right onto P. Burgos Avenue, continued onto Finance Road, then right onto Taft Avenue, right onto President Quirino Avenue, left onto Adriatico Street, right onto Mendiola Street, and finally ended at Rizal Memorial Sports Complex, where a program was held to honor the athletes. Manila residents couldn't contain their joy as they cheered for each athlete along the parade route. Proud Filipinos eagerly awaited the passing Olympians, showing their admiration. At each station along the route, in addition to support from the Manila LGU, private sectors provided water and snacks to those waiting for the parade. A few days before the event, the MMDA advised motorists to take alternative routes to avoid heavy traffic due to the parade. On Tuesday night, the athletes who competed in the Paris 2024 Olympics arrived in the country aboard a chartered flight that landed at the Maharlika hangar in Villamor Air Base. They headed straight to the Malacañang Palace for an awarding ceremony and dinner reception. Olympic gold medalist Carlos Yulo was awarded 20 million pesos and the Presidential Merit at the welcome reception for the 2024 Olympians at the Palace. Bronze medalists Villegas and Petesio each received 2 million pesos from President Marcos Jr., while other Olympic participants were given 1 million pesos each. Meanwhile, Manila City Mayor Hani Lacuna confirmed that the City Hall will hold a separate program on Monday, August 19, to present 2 million pesos in cash incentives to two-time Olympic gold medalist Carlos Yulo. Lacuna also clarified that the planned Carlos Yulo Day in Manila will be a working holiday, with a chosen date being August 4 each year in honor of the date Yulo won his first gold medal. The city first presented a 500,000 pesos cash incentive to Olympian pole vaulter Ernest John Obiena on Wednesday afternoon at the mayor's office, as Obiena was scheduled to leave for another country. For God and my beloved country, the Philippines, this has been Carlo de la Peña, SMNI News.
And before we end, may you be inspired with the words of the Son. It is up to our own freedom of choice to follow His will or to fall away. And that's all for this edition. For more news update, you may visit smninewschannel.com or follow us in our official social media accounts on Rumble, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. God and Country, I'm Frederico Velloso, and this is Newsline World.
This is SMNI News Channel. Truth that matters.
Subscribe to SMNI News Channel and turn on the notification bell to keep you up to date. Also visit our official social media accounts and join our community on Viber and Telegram.